Hagrid.
Oh, hello. Sorry, don't wish to be rude, but I'm in no fit state to entertain today.
We know about the Philosopher's Stone.
Oh.
Behold, I, moved by thy prayers, am present with thee, I who am nature, the parent of all things, the queen of all the elements, the primordial progeny of ages, the supreme of divinities, the sovereign of the spirits of the dead, the mother of the gods, and those who are illuminated by the incipient rays of that divinity, the sun, when he rises, viz., the Ethiopians, the Aali, and the Egyptians, skilled in ancient learning, worshipping me by ceremonies perfectly appropriate, call me by my true name, Queen Isis. So in Freemasonry, Isis is the representative of the Magnum Opus, which is the Great Work. And the Great Work is the great Hermetic axiom, which we all know, as above, so below. White, yellow and red represent the three principal colours of the alchemical, hermetical, universal medicine after the blackness of purification is over. Decomposition, the first step in the pathway to the Philosopher's Stone. All alchemical ingredients had to be cleansed and cooked extensively to a uniform black matter. Following the chaos of the Negredo stage, the alchemist undertakes a purification in the albedo, which is the washing away of impurities. This phase is concerned with bringing light and clarity to the primal materia, personal material. The albedo is the second stage of alchemy. In the process, the subject is divided into two opposing principles to later be coagulated to form a unity of opposites, or coincidentia oppositorum, during rubedo. Citrinitas is the dawning of the solar light, inherent in one's being that the reflective lunar or soul light was no longer necessary. It is referred to as the transmutation of silver into gold, or the yellowing of the lunar consciousness. Rubedo is the fourth and final major stage of the Magnum Opus. Both gold and the Philosopher's Stone were associated with the colour red, as Rubedo signalled the alchemical success and the end of the Great Work. Osiris, the divine, mummified king of the Egyptian underworld. The death and resurrection of Osiris depicts the spiritual death of man and his regeneration into the mysteries. He is also the representative of the sun, and Albert Pike writes about him in Morals and Dogma, or not exactly about him, but about the sun, saying, "Fire of nature, author of life, the regenerating principle, image of that fecundity which perpetuates and rejuvenates the world's existence." In ancient Egypt, the sacred scarab was buried with the dead as a symbol of resurrection. Combined with Osiris, he becomes the rising sun, or Khepri. Khepri can also mean the renewal of life. The molten sea, or lava of purification, represents the etheric world. Manly P. Hall writes in Unseen Forces, "For in its watery depths the soul must be washed on its pilgrimage to immortality." The robe of nature. So the green colour alludes to the vegetation that covers the face of the earth. Moisture supports vegetation, but this subtle humidity, life ether, is infected by venom proceeding from corruption or decay. It must be purified by being brought into contact with the invisible cleansing fire of nature. The dark and light A's are a Rosicrucian signature. The upper section is an esoteric representation of Solomon, the threefold androgynous spiritual sun. The Holy Royal Arch is the sun in three phases of its life. So Sol is the sun when it's rising, Om is the sun at midday, and On is the sun when it sets. If we ignore the vowel, we get the Hebrew letters Samek, Lamed, Mem, and Nun. Their geometric values are 60, 30, 40, and 50, together adding up to a number of 180, which is the number of degrees the sun passes from east to west, from life to death. The sun passes half of the ecliptic belt, starting from the sign of Aries and finishing in Libra. This half-circle movement brings us to balance, the true meaning of the word solemn. So the great work is all about androgyny, really. Osiris represents the little spark, and this volcano eruption at the top represents the great spark. And it's about combining the two on this plane and becoming like God, or God on this plane. Androgyny is a huge part of Masonry, if you read their writings. Her arm represents the phallic, and I think this perfume bottle represents the yoni, or if it's, I don't know if it's a perfume bottle, but the yoni and the phallic together. The silver and the sun, female and male, and in between it all, equilibrium or balance. We know this as Leviticus 18. Don't let your children pass through the fire to Molech. They call it the baptism of fire. So yeah, androgyny is a huge part of this. I think also the blackness, this black stage that we're in now, the Negredo, I think this has something to do with the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm not too sure, but I think, because I'm looking at this whole situation through symbolism, like Freemasonic symbolism, I think the BLM movement has something to do with this, the Negredo stage. Because Negredo is chaos, and we see here with the rebus, the green dragon is chaos, and the hermaphrodite standing on top of it is the rebus, or order, I should say. So order and chaos. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will try to do another video on this because there is more than what I have pointed out. But yeah, let's keep it going. Let's try and decipher this. IPEC Goat 2, whatever it is that's going on, like, I have no idea. The first time that you watch that, boy, man, it's crazy. But yeah, anyway,